Dylan's New Nightmare is a Nightmare on Elm Street short fan film released on YouTube last year, written and directed by Cecil Laird. It serves as a sequel to Wes Craven's New Nightmare and stars Miko Hughes, Dave McRae, Cynthia Kania, among others. And I think for the first time ever, I am reviewing two films from the same franchise in 1 year, simply because of the fact that I don't think this gets as much attention as other horror fan films such as Never Hike Alone. Anyway, let's start the review. The premise of this movie centers on Dylan Porter, all grown up and currently trying to make his way through Hollywood, an environment he was raised in and is familiar with. One night, he has a dream that he is auditioning for a part, only for one of the people in charge of the audition to turn into the wisecracking, finger-wielding maniac we all know and love, Freddy Krueger, played by Dave McRae. Luckily, Dylan wakes up in time before Freddy can do anything. He eventually recites this to his therapist, played by Kania, who believes some deep-seated trauma is starting to come out, but Dylan knows that, obviously, something truly menacing is going on. The fictional character from his childhood is slowly beginning to enter reality again, and Dylan must find a way to stop him before it's too late. Okay, this is basically the same concept as the original New Nightmare where Freddy is trying to enter reality, only now some of the characters are older and things are different now. That being said, this was a very neat way to update things, and it isn't just Freddy Dylan has to worry about. He has also been struggling with his estranged relationship with his mother, Heather, who has been put into psychiatric care due to the experiences she's had with the Nightmare on Elm Street franchise. So it has some family drama as well to keep you more invested with Dylan's character. Speaking of which, there is so much we learn about Dylan as a character in this film. I give premise a B+. Very nice update on things, and I do feel the pacing in this is a little better than the original New Nightmare. Next is acting, and it was pretty good. This is the most recent thing Miko Hughes has done, and I have to say his performance here is just as good as it was in the first New Nightmare, if not better. Now, his performance is what made the original so engaging to watch, and there's no exception here. I was so invested with him as a character in this due to his performance, and you can more than tell that the experiences from the original New Nightmare are still bothering him simply because of it. So, it made me thus care for him enough and made me more invested in his journey. This time, though, Robert Englund is not in the role of Freddy. This time it's Dave McRae. And while Englund's performance is iconic, this one is still surprisingly good. He knows how to balance out Freddy's wisecracking moments and more menacing moments very well. He knew how to capture the wit Freddy Krueger exhibits while also making sure to capture what a threat Freddy truly is. And Cynthia Kania also does a pretty good job as Dylan's therapist, Dr. Sarah. You can tell she genuinely cares for Dylan, and her performance, especially at the end, felt so real. It was as if she genuinely believed she was in danger. I give acting an A. It was a bit better than I expected, and bonus points for Freddy not being played by Englund, but still managing to capture what makes Freddy Krueger so sinister. Next is cinematography, and wow. It was great in Never Hike in the Snow, but I think it might be just a little bit better here. Especially the dream sequences, which were just so pleasing to look at simply because of how dark they were, and how it would help, therefore, emphasize the colorful lighting that would illuminate on the characters' faces as seen here. Now, look how gorgeous this shot is to look at. Look at how they make Freddy the focal point, so he's mainly what you are looking at, and the way the darkness overall adds to the stunning, almost psychedelic color lighting. I give cinematography an A+. I was so impressed with it all, and I think it might be the best out of any Elm Street movie. Now, special effects in this were really good, but like with the OG New Nightmare, Freddy doesn't really use the complexities of dreams like he usually does. I understand he probably needs to enter reality in order to do all that, but you probably could have thrown another dream sequence in where he finally utilizes it all, which could have made for some great special effects. In fact, I think only 2 dream sequences happen in this short, and while there were some cool effects here and there, such as Freddy walking on the wall as well as him coming out of the bed, I understand that this most likely had a limited budget, so they couldn't do much, but I just wish Freddy could have used the unclear narrative that dreams possess in order to psychologically disorient not only Dylan, but the audience as well. And also just to show how unpredictable dreams and in turn Freddy Krueger can be. I give special effects a B+. They were pretty good, but part of me thinks that they could have been better. Finally, directing. There is such a grim and somber tone throughout this film, and it definitely shows not only in terms of atmosphere and mood, but performances as well. You can tell just how much Dylan's experiences with Freddy have affected him, which only adds to the somberness since, obviously, he's still recovering from all that shit. Also, I won't say too much, but there is one genuinely sweet moment between Dylan and a very important person in his life over the phone, and it genuinely made me tear up. So kudos to Cecil for building Dylan up in such a way that when this interaction did come, it actually impacted me because of how much it had been established that Dylan was struggling with something internally. Especially given that his rocky relationship with this person more than pertains to all of this. Whatever Cecil directed him to do, it worked since it more than just showed how much this was all affecting Dylan, and he also did a good job of updating Dylan's character, speaking of which, in a way that felt real. I also love the way Cecil implemented themes of repressed trauma since they ended up complementing the story very well and were discussed greatly. I give directing an A+. It had such a hauntingly solemn mood that really adds to the horror. Good job, Cecil. Overall, Dylan's New Nightmare might feel like it ends kind of abruptly, but Cecil did say that there was going to be 4 more parts, so do keep that in mind if it does seem like it ends somewhat hastily. That being said, this was pretty damn good. It helped to build up Dylan's character more and thus made him more layered because of it. Like, so much is revealed about his character in the short, such as his current relationship with his mother, as well as how his experiences with Freddy have truly impacted him in the worst possible way. Although I do wish that they could have done a little more. I do like the direction in this as well as the character development in not only Dylan's character, but surprisingly Freddy's as well, since you could tell just how long he has been waiting to finally torment Dylan again, which in turn added to his motivation as a character, and that gave us something more to fear since Freddy is now more determined to get him than ever. Let's also not forget the fact that Freddy is both genuinely funny.
Fuck you, Freddy.
Fuck you too, kid.
While still managing to be scary, which I think is part of what makes this character so good due to how well he balances those two things out, while still managing to have a menacing presence. I give Dylan's New Nightmare an A. Really good update on things, but I do wish more would have happened. But hey, we are getting 4 more parts, so maybe things will be a little different in part 2. But anyway, thank you for watching, and don't forget to like and sub for more content.